Today's episode is brought to you by Bush's Fresh Food Market. Calling all foodies, Bush's is hiring. Are you passionate about food, looking for growth, development, and excellent wages? Come grow with Bush's and apply online at bushes.com/join our team. That's Bush's, BUSCHS.com/join our team.
From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Emma Stein with today's Free Press Voice Briefing. It's Thursday, February 24th, 2022. Michigan is changing its handling of the coronavirus pandemic. The state's chief health officer said that disease severity and hospitalizations should be the main focus rather than case rates. Last week, the state lifted the mask advisory for indoor settings, despite the CDC continuing to recommend indoor masking in every state. The state's goal is to protect healthcare capacity for future surges. She said, "This is going to be a cycle. COVID is not done with us. The pandemic is not over. It's not a straight line to the finish, and we're going to see ebbs and flows."
This is J.C. Reiner with the Detroit Free Press. Caregivers of former Red Wings defenseman Vladimir Konstantinov fear he could soon be forced to leave his Metro Detroit home and enter a nursing home, unless lawmakers act to change Michigan's recently overhauled auto insurance system. Konstantinov was the subject of a news conference this week by his supporters. No-fault insurance has paid for all of his medical bills and long-term care since he was a victim of a limo crash in 1997, shortly after the Red Wings won that year's Stanley Cup. But the agency that provides his care may soon have to cut him and 29 other people off unless lawmakers act to ease new price controls that were part of the no-fault overhaul bill that happened in 2019.
Eastern Michigan University's Delta Tau Delta fraternity must stop throwing parties immediately amid numerous sexual assault allegations. Washtenaw County officials are suing the frat, and Judge Timothy Connors granted a preliminary injunction on Wednesday. He said the frat created and maintained conditions of an environment conducive to sexual assault that has engendered fear in the community. The injunction means that no alcohol is allowed at a DTD property, regardless of age, and no more than 5 people can go to any house where more than 4 members live. Judge Connors said, "I don't think that a criminal conviction or any amount of money can ever take away the harm that is caused from a rape."
I'm Andrew Hammond for the Free Press Sports Department. The Detroit Free Press is adding yet another podcast to its stable coming March 1st. Coming soon will be the Pistons Pulse, a weekly Detroit Pistons podcast featuring Pistons beat writer Omari Sankofa and Bryce Simon. Here's a sneak peek at Pistons Pulse.
What's up, Detroit Piston and NBA fans, and welcome to Detroit Free Press's newest podcast, The Pistons Pulse, co-hosted by me, Bryce Simon of Motor City Hoops, a former D1 Hooper and 12-year high school coach, and my exciting new co-host.
Hey everyone, this is Omari Sankofa II, Detroit native and Pistons beat writer for the Detroit Free Press.
Omari and I will be bringing you insightful analysis on the players, coaches, front office, games, and all the storylines around your Detroit Pistons in the NBA. Tune in to hear Omari bring insider insights and analysis as a Pistons beat writer and Detroit native.
I've covered the Detroit Pistons for about 2 years, and I'm coming up on year 4 covering the NBA. And I would say just being a full-time beat writer, you really do get a great outlook on not only how, NBA players think, how teams think, but also the insight that you get just from being able to talk to players, talk to people behind the scenes. It really gives you an overarching perspective on how the NBA operates. And I'm excited to have this podcast with Bryce, who could give you the insight on the player perspective a bit more as a former D1 player at American University and current high school coach for 12 years. He can tell you stories about his interactions with Bruce Pearl and also just what it means to play the sport at a high level. Bryce, can you give the fans a little look into your experience playing against Blake Griffin?
Yeah, so I don't want to spoil it too much. All I will say is we opened my senior year at Oklahoma. We walked into the gym about 3 hours before game time, and he was out there drenched in sweat doing an individual workout, obviously not taking us very serious. I walked into the gym, and I was never more intimidated by a player in my life. But I'll save the rest of that and my interactions with Bruce Pearl and more. Got plenty of stories from my playing days to share with you, and what I think gives me a keen eye whenever we're watching these Pistons play.
We'll have a new episode for you every Tuesday with special episodes around big games, free agency, and the draft. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and on all Freep social media.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Motor City Hoops.
So tune in Tuesday, March 1st for the first episode of the Pistons Post. That can be found anywhere you listen to your podcast and on Freep.com.
And make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the first or any episode of the Pistons Pulse. We will talk to you soon.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out Freep.com. That's FREEP.com. I'll see you tomorrow.